Hey everybody, Greg Potts. One of the common questions that I get is, can you take small acreage and turn it into a hunting property? And when I say small acreage, I'm talking 5 to 15 acres, maybe even really less than 50 acres, but let's talk specifically today about 5 to 15 acres. The answer is absolutely, because many hunters get discouraged because they'd love their own hunting property, but can't afford 100+ acres or more. But there's a strategy behind this in how to turn a small acreage property into an amazing hunting haven. We're going to go through some of those details together today. So one of those is obviously if we set it up well. So one of the key components is food, number one. If you want to draw whitetail in, you need to have the food resources. So doing that is looking at the area that that smaller property is surrounded by. Maybe there's ag property surrounding it, but it's also taking your property and maximizing food plots. So when we think about food plots, a lot of times we think about clearing large 5 to 10 acre tracts for food plots. But a real fun thing, and we'll look at a property that we're on today and give you some ideas, but many food plots can be done by keeping your deer in core areas by actually clearing a trail that circles your property that keeps them in the core of that property, but taking that trail system and actually turning it into a food plot itself. Keeps your travel consistent on the property. You can pattern deer very well. You can also create a very big haven in the center of that creates a good bedding area for your deer. So let's take a minute and take a look at this property. So this property is actually a listing that we have for sale right now in North Texas. It's a 10-acre tract. And just so that you kind of get your bearings here, the road frontage is actually on the bottom of your screen. And that actually is the north side of the property. And if you look at all the white lines, they actually represent a trail system that we would recommend installing into the property. The little trail that is mid-screen that kind of goes to the center of property and ends would be a great prospective entry point to your trail system. But the trail that runs from the road frontage, the very bottom of your screen, allows really deer or whitetail or your game to have a travel corridor from the property to the north into your trail system. So if you notice at the middle of your screen there where we've created the circle trail system, what this really does is creates an avenue for your deer to be patternable. And within this trail system, again, we recommend that it's 6 to 8 foot wide. And then this is actually where you install your food plot, is in your trail system. This allows your deer to really travel and feel safe throughout that 10-acre property, because they just have 8 foot around them. Then they can get into the wood line onto the property and feel safe and secure. But it also creates a great way to pattern your deer, because they'll naturally travel that system that you've created. The center of the property of your trail there creates a natural bedding area and safety corridor for your deer. You know, you could also come along and install corn feeders or other feeders, protein feeders or things like that, that really assist you in continuing to pattern your deer. You'll notice on this property, on the very top of the screen there, the neighboring property actually has a surface water tank. So we'll talk about an ulterior method that if your property didn't have a neighboring water source or a water source on your property, we'll talk about how to provide a simple solution for that. But this really creates you the ability to have a great hunting property on small acreage by creating a trail system that also doubles as your food plot area. So let's talk a little bit about food plots and planting the right food plots in these areas. And it's really targeting the time that you plant those and what you plant. So we work with a company called Turner Seed Company that puts together a great blend for Texas that has radishes and many of your cereal grains, oats, wheat, barley, ryegrass, and those that really help out. You know, it's putting in good nutrition that they're not going to get on neighboring properties, that really draw them in and hold them on your place. So one of the things is you can actually hold deer in smaller acreage if you have the resources. A lot of people think small acreage, you may not have the water even like a stock tank or surface water. Well, we have systems and that we recommend clients do. You can actually put in water troughs. We bury them and dig a hole underground. Takes a little bit of work for the day. You build the tanks, countersink it in the ground, fill in around it, and you can bring in 55-gallon drums full of water to keep it full, which will give the deer full circle of resources of what they're looking for. If you guys are looking for a property, would love to talk to you, glad to help you. Just don't get discouraged thinking I can't afford 100+ acres for my hunting dream. Let's talk about a strategy. We can even devise a plan on paper on how to make that small tract produce for you.